Hello again and welcome to another instalment of the Travel Today wrap-up, where we briefly recap this week's major stories from the travel industry. I'm Steve Jones, editor of Travel Today. Rod Ether began his second year as chairman of the Council of Australian Tour Operators in fighting mood this week. During a speech at CATO's AGM in Sydney, the government, inbound and domestic sectors, and to a lesser extent travel agents, were all in the firing line. Politicians bore the brunt of the attack, with Ether accusing them of dashing to the aid of the inbound and domestic sectors in the aftermath of this year's natural disasters in Australia, but ignoring the outbound sector and failing to recognise that it too was impacted by those events. Now, you don't need to be an economist to know why that's the case. The government views outbound as, generally speaking, encouraging consumers to spend money overseas. Ether's point was that outbound is a major part of the wider travel industry, is responsible for many thousands of jobs, and if the outbound sector struggles, the travel industry struggles. You can read more about this in my Week in Focus in this week's Travel Today. Yesterday saw an important development in the cruising industry, with the government ordering an independent review into the possibility of passenger cruise liners sharing facilities with the Navy at Garden Island. Now, this has long been an ambition of the cruise sector, in particular with Carnival Australia, who have argued long and hard over the past couple of years or so that without those facilities at Garden Island, the growth of the sector could be strangled. Now, the Navy has persistently argued against sharing the facilities, but this review could open the door for that to become a reality. Keep reading Travel Today for updates on that issue. It never rains, but it pours in the world of aviation, it would seem. Clouds gathered again this week, this time in the form of ash clouds, which were generated by a volcano which erupted in South America last week. Chaos reigned as hundreds of domestic and trans-Tasman flights were grounded, and this is going to cost airlines a considerable amount of money. One analyst suggesting it'll cost Qantas up to $20 million per day. Normality, if such a thing exists in the world of aviation, it's beginning to return today, thank goodness. Still with aviation and still with Qantas, it announced a cost-cutting scheme this week. It's going to save up to $700 million over the next 2 years by delaying and deferring some aircraft orders. The carrier also scaled back its planned domestic capacity growth from around about 8% to 5% due to a softening in demand. Cathay Pacific became the latest carrier to start to pay commission on fuel, at least it will do from July the 1st. The carrier is one of 4 still being pursued by lawyers in the long-running fuel surcharge class action, but the carrier argued that that wasn't really the reason behind it. It was more a case of remaining competitive. Most other airlines now have decided to pay commission on that levy. Cathay didn't want to stand out there as being uncompetitive, so it's now fallen into line. So some good news there for travel agents. Finally this week, a new reporter arrived at Travel Today, and Majumdar. She will take over from Michael Bruce, who departed in April. So we welcome Anne to the team. No doubt you'll see her around the industry over the coming months and hopefully the next few years. That's it for now. Thanks again for watching. You can also follow Travel Today via Twitter and our flourishing Facebook page, which is well and truly up and running now. And I'll see you next week for another Travel Today wrap-up. Same time, same place. Have a good week. Take care.